Let's get down to the New York Stock Exchange. Jim Cramer joins us right now on this. And Jim, I just want to ask, as an investor, you heard everything Carlos Watson had to say. Would you invest?
Invest? No.
Thought that might be your answer.
No. I was on the show, and I kept thinking that when's it going to run? Because I hadn't heard from anybody. I mean, like, no one. And I said, when's that going to... I asked them, I said, when's it going to run? Whoever I got a hold of. And they said, well, it ran a couple weeks ago. And I know Andrew compared it to Theranos, and that's kind of a benchmark of bad. But I got to tell you guys, that was a remarkable performance we just saw. Because there was no admission of anything, like anything at all. And I don't know, Becky, I'm still stunned. I'm just stunned. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's easier to talk about, I don't know. I feel it's easier to talk about Facebook and the revelations. That's more positive. Andrew, what do you think? A little more positive, the revelations of Facebook?
This was more positive?
No, he's saying.
No, I'm saying
Facebook.
that Facebook makes me feel more confident. To defend Mark Zuckerberg, can I talk about Mark? Because, you know, I feel like Mark Zuckerberg comes out ahead of that last interview. Right? I mean,
look, I think that, I think there's questions about which has had a greater effect on society, and we could probably argue. I think we could agree that Facebook's had a much larger impact, though I'm sure Carlos Watson would love to have that kind of impact. I think one version is, very misleading, and the other is maybe misleading as well, but in a different way.
Right. No, Facebook's horrible. I mean, let's just make it. That's the benchmark. I mean, anybody who's read these things and still feels the same about Facebook must be in the inner circle of Facebook. I mean, maybe Cheryl. I don't know. I mean, that was just horrible. I mean, the stuff where it's just like, the stuff that they did to teenagers and stuff. I can't. My charitable trust owns it. I can't in good conscience own it. It was horrible. The Aussie Fest was interesting just because, like many who were involved, we've been on the shows and we're just kind of like, were we part of it? I mean, I felt like I was part of it because it was so incredible. Look, the interview where there was a phony on a guy who was pretending to be from YouTube. Yeah. I mean, why not just accept that was just horrible and try to defend whether you were in on it? I mean, Ozzy said he wasn't in on it. I'm trying to figure out how's that possible.
Watson, yeah. Carlos Watson.
Facebook was different. There was, Carlos Watson. How is that possible? He was not in on it. The Facebook is just, I wish that your next guest luck. Because I've been a somewhat believer that Facebook could get through this, and now we need real answers.
Yeah, I have to say that advertisers have always stayed with Facebook, and that's always been its power. Anybody who says they have a small business, anybody who's used it has said this is the best way to reach people. But I think this starts to get to the point where real questions are raised. And if Congress
we've done great. Right. We've done great with our restaurant and Instagram. I don't know. I just felt like that series was devastating.
Yeah.
A lot of devastation this morning. The Carlos Watson interview was devastating, and I want to hear what Facebook has to say, but I think that series. I mean, aren't you guys just stunned? I mean,
as a parent of teenagers or preteens, it's something you are concerned about. It's something we've all seen the fallout. Any of us have seen it have an impact on our kids, and I think this is now hitting the point where people have serious questions, and where Congress is very likely going to dig into this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Mark Benioff last week at a conference I gave said, look, there's truth or there's power. You have to elect which one you want. And Facebook's clearly elected power. And I think that we're at the point in our lives where we just want truth. And I think that those documents did not have there was not a lot of truth expressed by the company versus what we read.
Jim, thank you. And we will see you.
Guys, just great interview with Carlos Watson. I mean, honestly. It was just unbelievable, guys.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.